Suddenly, Don Juan charged at me at full speed and pulled me by the arm, dragging me bodily for 10 or 12 feet. He helped me to stand up and wiped some perspiration from his forehead. I noticed then that he had exerted himself to his limit. He patted me on the back and said that I had picked the wrong place and that he had to rescue me in a real hurry because he saw that the spot where I was sitting was about to take over my entire feelings. I laughed. The image of Don Juan charging at me was very funny. He had actually run like a young man. His feet moved as if he were grabbing the soft, reddish dirt of the desert in order to catapult himself over me. I'd seen him laughing at me, and then in a matter of seconds, he was dragging me by the arm. After a while, he urged me to continue looking for a proper place to rest. We kept on walking, but I didn't detect or feel anything at all. Perhaps, if I had been more relaxed, I would have noticed or felt something. I had ceased, however, to be angry with him. Finally, he pointed to some rocks, and we came to a halt. "Don't feel disappointed," Don Juan said. "It takes a long time to train the eyes properly." I didn't say anything. I wasn't going to be disappointed about something I didn't understand at all. Yet I had to admit that 3 times already since I'd begun to visit Don Juan, I had become very angry and had been agitated to the point of being nearly ill while sitting on places that he called bad. "The trick is to feel with your eyes," he said. "Your problem now is that you don't know what to feel. It'll come to you, though, with practice." "Perhaps you should tell me, Don Juan, what I'm supposed to feel." "That's impossible." "Why?" "No one can tell you what you're supposed to feel. It isn't heat, or light, or glare, or color. It's something else." "Can't you describe it?" "No. All I can do is give you the technique. Once you learn to separate the images and see 2 of everything, you must focus your attention in the area between the 2 images. Any change worthy of notice would take place there, in that area." "What kind of changes are they?" "That's not important. The feeling that you get is what counts. Every man is different. You saw glitter today, but that didn't mean anything because the feeling was missing. I can't tell you how to feel. You must learn that yourself." We rested in silence for some time. Don Juan covered his face with his hat and remained motionless, as if he were asleep. I became absorbed in writing my notes, until he made a sudden movement that made me jolt. He sat up abruptly and faced me, frowning. "You have a knack for hunting," he said, "and that's what you should learn. Hunting. We're not going to talk about plants anymore." He puffed out his jaw for an instant, then candidly added, "I don't think we ever have, anyway. Have we?" and laughed. We spent the rest of the day walking in every direction while he gave me an unbelievably detailed explanation about rattlesnakes. The way they nest, the way they move around, their seasonal habits, their quirks of behavior. Then he proceeded to corroborate each of the points he had made, and finally he caught and killed a large snake. He cut its head off, cleaned its viscera, skinned it, and roasted the meat. His movements had such a grace and skill that it was a sheer pleasure just to be around him. I'd listened to him and watched him, spellbound. My concentration had been so complete that the rest of the world had practically vanished for me. Eating the snake was a hard re-entry into the world of ordinary affairs. I felt nauseated when I began to chew a bite of snake meat. It was an ill-founded queasiness, as the meat was delicious, but my stomach seemed to be rather an independent unit. I could hardly swallow at all. I thought Don Juan would have a heart attack from laughing so hard.